Good day, America. This is Red Ho again. We're doing a special edition, something that we didn't talk about when we were in a regular podcast. So this is a special edition of some of the things that's going on in the month of June. For instance, the month of June is Health Awareness Month, Mental Health Awareness Month. In case you didn't know, I do suffer from some depression and anxiety, so I do take medicine for that. I do all that kind of stuff. So all the people out there that do suffer from those sort of things, PTSD, whatever the case may be, shout out to you. I just wanted to let you know that I'm thinking about you. The second thing I wanted to bring up was if you see the sign behind me, the flag, it's the U.S. Army. They had a birthday, 250 years in the making, and keep on running strong. Still Army strong. Go Army, beat Navy. I'm just kidding you, Navy boys. All right, and then of course the third thing that I've got going on is Juneteenth. Juneteenth is a new holiday that came out, and it represents basically the Emancipation Proclamation that was brought out in 1863. And me and my boy D here, we actually just looked it up recently and found out that Juneteenth, the reason why they call it Juneteenth, is because there was city, states, or maybe even the entire state of Texas did not even know about the emancipation until approximately 2 years after the initial emancipation took place. So that's why they kind of group it all into a Juneteenth, normally meaning the teens of the month of June. Now, we actually celebrated on the 19th of June, but that's more just a political thing, just so that way they know, okay, this is this is the day they're going to consider a holiday. So I'm going to bring my man D in here. What's going on there, big man?
Good, man. What's good? How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing well. I'm making it and enjoying the whole podcast thing, and like you've seen before, I do the whole sailing and all that kind of things.
Right, right. You've been doing it, man. You've been doing it. I've been checking you out on Facebook, man, and aside from the jokes that you send me on a regular basis,
Yeah.
videos that you got, man, are pretty it's interesting, bro.
Yeah.
I'm digging seeing you on a sailboat doing your thing, man.
Oh yeah, man. That is a joy. It can be difficult at times, especially when you don't have a whole lot of wind and that kind of stuff. But
Right.
yeah, it's a joy just to be out there and just chill. I'm not one of those fisherman type. So, if I'm out on there and catch a real good wind, that boat starts tipping over to the, oh man, that is just awesome. I mean, it scared the heck out of my cousin, not the one that owns the boat, but his wife.
Okay.
She just she don't like it when it's tipping.
Yeah, I like boats, man. I like boats
Yeah.
a lot. I'm a fisherman, though, bro.
Yeah.
I would love to get out there and do some fishing.
But you know what? On a sailboat,
Yeah.
that wouldn't be too bad actually, because you're moving slower, right? And those fish, I mean, especially where I'm at, those fish actually they come up and they flop them right there in the middle of the lake.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah, just to be out there, just to be sailing, not even fishing, man.
yeah, it would be a blast, man.
Yeah, man, be a blast.
Yeah, if we ever get the time to get that all taken care of, man, I'll bring you out there too with me.
Okay.
All right. All right. So now with all that being said, um, D here, we used to work together with the city in the public works and that kind of stuff. So um, crazy jokes. We used to talk to each other and just crack jokes and have a good time, basically.
Definitely every day, on a daily. It was
Oh
a
yeah.
regular thing.
We just we we've done some things. Is there anything in particular that you remember that was just so damn funny that we did? I know. Well, I mean, I knew I was creating beats and that kind of stuff and sending it to you.
Yeah. We used to sit back and rap. You know what I'm saying? In the trucks.
Oh yeah.
To some of your beats, freestyling and all of that. I remember some of the stories. I'm trying to think of something though. We did together on the city that was just hilarious. Whoa, do you remember? And I still got pictures of it in my phone.
Oh, that dang sewer line?
Yeah.
That sewer main, yeah.
Yeah,
we have pictures. Matter of fact, I think I still got the picture too.
Yeah.
But
Oh.
we had a sewer main that busted, and it was me and him. We was down in that dang ditch, and it looks like mud, but it was shit.
Yeah. I mean,
and we're
all the way up. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah,
it was pretty bad.
It was deep, and so we got in there. had to cut the dang old pipe out, and then of course put the sleeve in there and get it repaired. But that's the kind of stuff that I used to do. Now I do more of the street stuff. But then you going and playing with poo. You know, it's kind of a it's a thing.
Yeah,
And
it comes with being a city employee. You know what I mean?
exactly.
So
And
what can you do?
believe it or not, you will get used to it over time. I mean, a lot of the stuff that we do doesn't necessarily involve playing around in the poo. You know, because you have pump stations that need maintenance work and that kind of
Right,
stuff. So,
right. It's rare that we get into it like that. You know?
right, that was
Very
actually a
rare.
very big rarity because
Yeah.
that just normally doesn't happen.
Gotcha.
And you know, water on the other hand is actually a lot obviously more clean. But you know, if the water main was to break and we have to go out there and fix it whatever, we would dig it up, we find it, put a clamp on it. Sometimes it's busted to the point where you'd actually have to shut the main down, and then you put the sleeve on, similar to what we used to do with the poo, just not with the same clamp. I'm just saying.
Right, so I was sitting up there thinking about some of the water mains and shit that had broke. That one winter, I think we had, it was crazy how many water main breaks we
Oh
had
yeah,
that one winter, bro.
and it seems like it's gone up too, because since I've been there, they had this past winter was terrible though.
I can just imagine
That's ice storm that we had in
Yeah.
January.
Yeah.
That messed up some lot of stuff. And then the county started breaking rocks out there in their quarries so they can chop them up and use them for gravel roads and stuff.
Wow.
There's a water main right there. It almost snaps every single time they do it, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Except for repair.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well,
Repair.
and then of course, when I first started working over there in the water department, this was several years ago. One of the first repairs that I had to do, it was lottie dottie everybody because it was the main going underneath the main highway. Yeah, I was just doing traffic control, so I didn't do a whole lot of the digging and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
But I mean, they had a sleeve
Yeah.
that the pipe was in,
Yeah.
but that's where it was
How
broke.
big? How big was the pipe?
That one was
Big.
10.
10. That was a big one.
Maybe an 8. It might have been just an 8.
Okay. Wow.
Like I said, I was doing more traffic control than anything else on that one. But they had to dig out all along the side to get enough room to pull that old pipe out, and they had to shut the water off. There was no
Right.
way.
Right. I remember that was a routine.
Yeah. Well, you couldn't. We tried not to in order to do the boil orders and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Man,
That job, bro.
that it was on a Saturday.
That job. Yeah.
And that Saturday, it was all day long. I think we were there 13, 14 hours.
Yeah, we've had some bad ones. I don't think I've had one that long.
Right. Well, this one was a
Yeah.
major one. This was a
Yeah.
big one.
And it's messed up that they happen in the wintertime. You know?
9 times out of 10, it's winter or early
Yeah.
spring when it's
Yeah,
cold.
bro. Yeah.
Cold.
Man. I remember that one time when I got out of that hole and put my wrench, boom, concrete,
Yeah.
got out of the hole, went to go get the wrench, and it was froze. I'm
Yeah.
like, it was just,
Yeah,
it was
exactly.
crazy. It was warmer in the water. And the
Yeah.
water was like 30, 32 degrees or something like that.
Yeah,
you know
but
what I mean?
compared to minus 15 on the outside, yeah.
Right. Yeah, let me get the water
You were
warm
there
up.
when we had the like 8 water main breaks in 6 days or something.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah,
man.
that was one of them. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was, oh
Yeah.
god,
That was crazy.
we did a lot of that stuff.
Yeah. I could still get down there and do that.
Yeah,
I think I like driving the truck. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Well, I mean, I like the money more than anything else.
gotcha.
You know what
Yeah,
saying?
I'm with you.
But,
I'm with you.
But it's just a lonely job.
Well, that's just like, were you there when we did the one there by Hardee's? You might not have been. That was the one we had to wait till they closed down. We had to do it like 10 o'clock at night.
Now, was Hardy's there when this happened? Or
Yeah,
I mean,
Hardee's was there, yeah.
Well, no, because I stopped working for the city before Hardy's was built. You know, I think. Hardee's
Oh no, Hardee's been there.
Oh, you know what I'm thinking about? I'm thinking about Arby's.
You're thinking Arby's. Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
See, I wasn't
was
even
there.
here for
It
Arby's.
was me, you, and Roy. We had the Bacter.
It was
you know what I
Nick.
mean?
And it wasn't a factor. This was the one in the middle of the night. They wanted to change out the tap going to it. They wanted to change it from a 1-inch main to a 2-inch main or 2-inch line going to their thing.
Okay.
Well, what ended up happening is there was 2 1-inch lines, and we didn't know about the second one.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're sitting there and we're getting everything all set up to change everything over and the whole nine. And I go to cut that line and boosh! I was like, whoa, where in the hell's that water coming from?
Yeah, yeah.
So we had, of course, we were
I remember
shutting
we did the
that
cleanup,
sucker
yeah.
off, and man, yeah, the cleanup.
Yeah, bro, I remember the cleanup on that one.
And the next, we just said, after that, we just said, okay, the heck with it. We're gonna have to just, let that one run, and we'll leave this one off.
Yeah.
And we'll, dig it out and find out what's going on. Man, I mean, it wasn't cold because I think that was in the middle of summer. This was one of those maintenance things where Hardee's didn't want to shut down so we could take care of it.
Right, yeah.
We were changing out meters and oh man, that was bad.
They had to shut it down then.
Yeah. Oh well, we shut it down, but what we were planning on doing was putting in a secondary clamp with a 2-inch line that'll go into the meter, and then just get rid of the old one, cut it off, and then be done with it.
Right.
But there ended up being two, and by that time it's like, okay, we didn't think we have the equipment to do that kind of stuff.
Crazy.
So,
That's crazy.
yeah. But and that's the kind of crazy stuff that we used to do. Now it's something that we had to do. It's not like we could just say, "To heck with this, I'm not doing that." It was part of our job. This is what we had to do.
Right. Exactly.
But yeah.
Good times.
Oh man, great times. I mean, the crew that we have now in the street department, everybody talking smack about everybody else. It's all in good fun. It's not even drama.
Okay.
It's just all in good fun.
Oh, okay. Well, that's cool.
And man, this one kid, and you might know him, Cody. Skinny, short, skinny dude. Yeah,
I would have to see him.
yeah, you probably would. But man, this guy doesn't know. And it's not the smack talk. He just whatever. I'll explain more of that off there. But anyway, so I enjoy this month because of those reasons. The whole Juneteenth, and finally the government is doing something about the whole emancipation and recognizing the black communities and their ancestors as far as the emancipation is concerned. And of course, because I'm an old Army vet, Army's birthday is a big deal, and of course, because this is the 250th, gotta have some mad props for them.
No doubt. 250 years.
250 years, that's actually a year older than the actual Declaration of Independence.
I wonder, wow.
It is. Well, and the Navy and the Marine Corps are both the same. They were just a few months after the Army. Army's technically the oldest, but they all came about the same year.
Right. I mean,
So
we always talk about the Army, you know what I mean? That's just kind of
yeah, because nobody plays Navy in the backyard.
Right.
We say those kind of game jokes all the time.
Hey, let's play Marines. Yeah, they don't.
Yeah, they don't.
Yeah, no doubt.
I mean, the only way that you play Marines if you were actually like if you had a pond or something in the backyard, you'd be swimming around and say, "Gotcha, sucker!"
Right. I'm thinking about the little figurines though, man.
Oh yeah. They always call them Army.
Oh,
They always call
Army
them
guys.
Army.
Yeah, man, with a feet.
But
We're
now,
glued together,
But now those figurines,
yeah,
they've actually got different colors for the different branches. Like they got the blue ones for the Air Force.
yeah. They were all green. I mean, the face.
I think it was tan or something for the Marine Corps or something at the time. Yeah, but everything is the same color. They did not disappear from that. It's still the same color, but they had different colors for the different branches.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, absolutely.
That would be cool. I bet you those are probably worth some money.
Mhm.
Those old school Army figurines.
Oh yeah, especially if they're mint. Heck, you got the whole collection. Oh yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, we used to do that kind of stuff in the backyard. Matter of fact, I might as well tell you this story. We were at my house back in the day when I was a teenager, young teenager, I was like 13. Me and my cousin were sitting there playing Army, right? Well, we had BB and pellet guns, but they weren't supposed to be loaded.
Good.
Right?
Right, okay.
Well, so I had one of those old Daisy style, the Red Rider type of stuff.
I know just which one you're talking about. Yeah, bro.
And so, I cocked the thing just playing around. I go up and I fire. There wasn't supposed to be any BBs in that dang thing.
Okay.
There was, and I didn't know it. And I hit my cousin.
Where?
It was from a distance. I don't even know where. He didn't tell me where. But when he felt it, he said, "Okay, He had a CO2 cartridge with a pellet, and I was hiding behind a piece of cardboard.
Pellets can damage
From a shorter distance. Yeah,
you.
this was probably a good 50, 60 yards. I mean, it was a distance, so it wasn't too bad for a pellet gun.
Okay.
And he just fired at the dang uh, cardboard that I was standing behind.
Yeah.
Shot me right in the thigh.
Wow.
Yeah, and I jumped up and said, "What the f?" And he was just like, "Well, you shot me, you son of a." I was like,
man?
"Dude, I didn't even know the BB was in there."
Yeah.
After that, I freaking opened that son of a bitch. I shook
check,
out
man.
anything that could possibly be in that dang gun. I was like, we ain't doing that again.
Yeah.
No.
Make a believer quick out of you, man.
Oh, man.
No doubt. No doubt. Good times, man.
Yeah, well, that's just like we spent when I was in Bosnia. Man, we used to call it Groundhog Day. Because,
what is Bosnia close to, though? I'm trying to picture.
okay, Bosnia is in the Baltic Sea, and it's probably the southernmost part of Europe, technically.
Okay, Europe.
Hungary is right next door. I think if you go across the sea, that's when you start getting into is it Egypt or North Africa, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure. I'd have to look it up.
Yeah, I'm like, geography is not my strong
Yeah,
suit,
not mine neither. But
I'm just trying to picture, though.
I just remember it was a part of the Baltic Sea.
Yeah.
And I knew that Hungary was just north of them. Or no, I'm sorry. It was Czech, not Czech. Croatia was just north of it. Then it was Hungary, and then it was Germany.
Okay.
As far as north, whatever. Austria. So it was probably more south east of Germany, because you had Austria, and then Hungary was just off to the side there, and then just below that was Croatia, and then Bosnia was kind of a sliver piece right there.
Okay.
And I was there during the time after their civil war, just to keep the peace. So we were called the stabilization force.
Okay.
So we did a lot of guard duty. We also did our regular job all in between time. And for the longest time, we had to wear everything, helmet, the whole nine. It was hot. I mean, it's 100 degrees, high humidity because it was next to that Baltic Sea. And we actually had a guy. He wasn't in our unit. He was in a different unit, but I heard about it. He was running at 4 o'clock in the afternoon in 105-degree heat and high humidity. Died from running.
I can imagine.
The guy, the medic that was there, I was taking a class, and the medic that was there, he was like, "How dumb do you have to be to run at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, which is the highest heat portion of any place?"
Right. All your gear on.
What? Come on. It makes no sense. You're going to dehydrate. You're going to die.
Yeah, man. You got, some people out there, bro, are just a special kind of special.
Well,
you know what I mean? It's real.
that just brings up so many dang stories from Bosnia, man. Because we had, it was right before we were getting ready to leave. And the temperature went from 100 degrees to 40 degrees practically overnight.
Wow.
I mean, they didn't really have a fall. It was like
boom,
boom, boom, boom. It was dang near snowing right before we left. But we went in 2 different groups, and I was in the second group, so I had guard duty. They took my cot, taped it to the ceiling of the tent.
Wow.
I got back from guard duty, seen that up there, so I pull out my knife and start cutting the dang tape. Porn magazines fall out from the from the cot. I was just like, all I could do was laugh because they were on the road already taking off. I was just like, don't know who it is, but I'm just.
That's funny, bro.
This is the kind of stuff that we used to do, to each other and stuff.
I hear stuff about, just some of the stories, man. That, the army guys used to tell back in the day.
Yeah.
I've never been in the military or nothing like that. You know what I mean? But still,
Yeah.
It information and then just watching, all the movies and all of that. You know what I mean? How do you sometimes?
You see all the blood and guts stuff, but you don't see the crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like we were still in the process of phasing out the whole I forgot what the hazing.
Mm.
Dude. So I was still kind of in the middle of that, and I got promoted while I was down there in Bosnia.
Yeah.
Well, our hazing really wasn't that terrible because they just made us basically do push-ups and poured water on us and all that stuff. So it really wasn't that bad, but I've seen worse.
Some people go completely overboard, man, when it comes to the hazing.
Well, okay, so like the airborne, and I don't know if they still do it because, like I said, it's been over 20 years since I've been in the service. But in the airborne, when you finally pass, you get what you call blood wings. Now we all know what blood wings means in the civilian world, but
but
in the airborne world, right? They would take the pin, take the back out of that pin, stick it to the chest where you're supposed to be, pound it in. Dude, yeah, and it's not just one person doing it. You run a gauntlet. Everybody in the platoon takes a shot. Yeah, I mean, you're pulling that sucker out, and then somebody else does it again. I mean, it's almost like getting a dang tattoo, I would assume, because it's not going to stay in the same place. This is the kind of stuff that they were starting to frown upon by the time I got close to getting out.
God,
we had one chick. She got promoted to sergeant, and they egged her. I mean, they did all kind of crazy stuff to her.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And the sergeant major, which is the highest ranking enlisted in the battalion that we were in, he came up and said, you can't do that anymore. I'm just like, it's all in good fun. It's not like she's offended. It's like, dang. But, hey, that's just how things go. Things start to get more and more PC. So,
Yeah.
But see, every time I got promoted, instead of the wings, we had it on our collars.
Yeah.
Right on the collarbones. But those were not near as long as the other ones, so those didn't like really stick. And you get to be a tough son of a gun when you sitting there getting pounded, you know. Right?
No, man.
I mean, you'll just sit there walking through, and they'll just give you a good pounding. I mean, it was awesome. I mean, it was awesome.
It's
now.
Culture, it was just the culture back then.
Right, but that was means that you were accepted.
Yeah.
And
you can.
It's a part of that whole camaraderie thing that things kind of get slipped away nowadays.
Yeah, it's like being accepted into a brotherhood almost. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Just to know that you're accepted. Yeah, I can deal with a little bit of this. And you're just so happy and elated that you're part of this group. You know what I mean? Like,
right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's just like when I got out. They have a tradition where the day before you get out, they will strip you of all your rank, your name tags, anything that you got on your sleeves, the whole nine.
Yeah.
They will strip that off of your uniform. And it's just a celebratory thing. It's not like they say, hell out, whatever. It's a celebratory thing. And those guys, I had several uniforms, right?
Okay.
But the only one was the one that got ripped apart. And they practically tore my sleeves off. I mean,
wow.
They just,
yeah.
Give me that. It's like, oh, But they just knew that you were leaving, you were going to do better things, and they were getting ready to go to war, too. This was all like post 9/11.
Yeah.
They was getting ready to go to war.
Yeah.
So they had to have something, some kind of build them up for the long haul. Mm-hmm. Thank God nobody from that unit died when they went down to Iraq. Because it
was bad, man.
Well, I mean, for the longest time, one of my other friends, Army buddy, I could have sworn he told me that my replacement died, and I could have sworn he told me that, and we were doing recovery operations, so I could see how that person would have died, and that hit me hard because that should have been me. But I talked to him a few years later, and it's like, really? I thought you swore you told me that. No, man, ain't nobody died from that. All right, hey, cool. It make me feel a little bit better anyway. But that makes me think stuff that I was supposed to do, because I was a mechanic first. But I did what was called recovery. Broken down vehicle on the side of the road. We go and pick it up. Well, you got the IEDs.
I was gonna say, ain't that just dangerous though?
Yeah, it's dangerous.
I mean, there's a reason why the vehicles broke down. You know.
Well, and if it's broke down because of an IED and that kind of stuff, obviously they clear the scene. Make sure that there's no more of them and that kind of stuff beforehand. But if it's just one that just simply broke down and it's on the side of the road, you go out there and you can still get shot at by snipers and that kind of stuff while all this is going on. And that's the stuff that we, as soldiers, had to get prepared for. Right. Navy guys, it's a different conundrum, but it's still the same.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. But, for the most part, that's different, though. I mean, the Navy, that's the water, bro.
Believe it or not, it's probably just as dangerous. I've talked to some Navy guys, some CVs and that kind of stuff. It is just as dangerous because 9 times out of 10, the attack is either going to come from a ship that's pretty far away. Mm-hmm. You have to catch them on sonar first. Mm-hmm. And if you don't catch them on sonar, they got you. Wow. So that's why their technology keeps improving and keeps improving. Submarines is probably the hardest to do because if you are in a war area, you can't go topside, and you're basically sailing off of sonar alone. Oh, I mean, you might have GPS, maybe, but probably not because they can pick up a GPS signal like nothing, and you're a goner.
And just being confined like that,
And that is one thing that I would consider joining the Navy. But I knew I wasn't the greatest swimmer. I can swim, but I'm not the greatest swimmer. But after doing all this sailing and stuff, maybe second guess that. Don't get me wrong, fellas. I still am an Army guy. Go Army, beat Navy. But right. I'm just saying. Yeah. Made me think twice. Maybe I should have tried to join the Navy. I mean, even if I was on the ship, it's not like I'm going to be overboard 9 times out of 10.
No doubt. It's not like it's crab fishing or whatever that stuff. You know what I'm saying? But
still, you seen those shows with
the deadliest catches or whatever. Yeah. No, man, but I still think that, well, I can see your point,
Yeah.
Because if you're automatically hit, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As far as once they got, what's it called? The sonar or whatever one.
Yeah.
The
torpedo. Once that torpedo's in the water,
and if you're on like one of those
can't
carriers or something.
Yeah, it's exactly right.
Bro, where are you gonna run?
Yeah. And the carrier's even worse because those planes. Mm-hmm. I was talking to somebody about it or heard about it or whatever, and those planes. The reason why they had that cable is so that way they could take off fast enough on a shorter strip to get in the air. Yeah. And that's cool. Yeah. But landing, they have a little hook.
Yeah. To stop it, you know what I mean?
Well, and that's to do the same thing. Is to slow you down to the point where you won't slide off the other side because you're going at a high rate of speed. Yeah. But if you miss,
they make them take back off.
I mean, you have to know instantly that you missed and you're gone. You have to do it again. Yeah. Let yourself run out of fuel and try to miss. Then you're in the damn sea. You're talking about billion-dollar planes.
Yeah. And then I heard that like ejecting out of a plane.
Oh yeah.
I heard that pilots that eject out of a plane, maybe they get back in the cockpit once, but they said that they have never met somebody that's ejected out of a plane, more than twice because just the force of it, you know what I mean? It messes you up.
Oh yeah.
It's like it's so violent.
I heard about that.
Yeah, man. They were saying that it's so violent, man, and it's unreal. You know, but it saves your life. I can deal with a little bit, deal with being tossed around a little bit,
Oh yeah, but the G-force is to the extreme. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're talking about you lose your compressed air that you normally would be breathing through, especially at certain altitudes.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
You lose that because the canopy's gone.
Yeah.
Right.
You traveling at Mach 1 or some shit. You know what I'm saying?
Well, right. And you would think that if you got say you got clipped in the wing and you're going down, that you would slow down. And you're going to slow down, but you're still under Mach 1, but you're still going to be going pretty doggone fast. Right. I mean, you're talking a jet cargo plane goes 800 miles an hour. So a jet, I'm sure, is quite a bit more than that.
Top, you got an explosion. boom, poof,
Right. Next thing you know, the
top
candy's
flies off.
gone, and then you're shot up straight up in the air and stuff. It's just like,
Yeah. Oh man.
for that to happen more than once.
Yeah, they said.
Yeah, I can
up,
see
man.
how
I
that
mean,
mess
like,
somebody up.
Yeah, yeah, it will mess you up, man. I just
Physically and
that
emotionally.
Yeah. They say, once you hit the eject button, most
Mhm.
pilots don't fly anymore after that. You know what I mean? And he says, if you do it twice, you're definitely done after the second time.
Yeah. And usually they do psych evals after you eject to make sure that you're even ready to get back in it.
Yeah, definitely. Any other topics you want to talk about, man? Any questions?
No, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to do a whole special on all these three things because it's June, and of course I'll be doing another one of those again in July. I'll do my regular podcast that I normally do on both Spotify and now on YouTube, and then I'll also do a couple specials here and there. Just any friends, anybody that wants to do any of this stuff with me, holler at me. You can go on to my Facebook page, is Good Day America Facebook page. You can put it in the comments in the YouTube channel. If you still listen to the Spotify version, you can always put the comments in the Spotify version. Hey, if you got my phone number, give me a call. Let me know, hey, I want to get involved. See, that's what my man D right here did. So, yeah. So, hey, until next time, enjoy your life and good day, America.
Good day, America.